How's it going, everybody? I'm a little congested, but I'm here. So we're talking about Wonder Duck today, only on Ted Davies Artistry. And of course, we're really going to be talking about Jorge Medina. Um, he's a guy that I think there's a few creators that I see in the indie industry or in indie publishing that are really like I think the original gangsters. These guys have been around forever, and he's one of them. He's part of Catch the Craze, and I think he's one of the ones to keep an eye on, and that's why we got his book right here. We're gonna be talking to him, and you're gonna find out just a little bit more about what makes this publication and George so special. We'll be back in a second. Well, hello again, everybody. And if I do cough or sneeze, just bear with me here. It's a time of year, I guess. Welcome to Ted Davies Artistry. I'm Ted Davies. This is my channel. I am a YouTuber. I'm an artist and author, a collector of sorts, and I'm here to hopefully entertain and educate you. Hopefully, you're creative and you got a business and you're trying to promote it and learn a few things about how creatives promote their business. And that's what we do here at Ted Davies Artistry. And that's one of the reasons why we have TED Talks. And TED Talks is usually every week live. Today it's not because of scheduling with this particular guest. And George is a fantastic guy. We'll get him on here in a second. We do want to talk about our sponsorships real quick. We've got two great sponsors, Cashman's Comics in Bay City. Check out everything that John Cashman does in comics. He's great. Cashmanscomics.com, and say hello to Petey the guard dog as well. Also, we have Northern Grounds Coffee. They are a very nerdy way of doing coffee, and it is. I'm very glad that they're part of our coalition of coffee people, I guess. Here, if you really want to know what they are all about, go to northerngrounds.coffee. But also, with names like Make It So Espresso, things like that, you guys are going to see the Star Trek influences and the Star Wars influences, everything that goes into their names. It's just a fantastic promotional coffee company, but also the way that they roast is very healthy, and it's just a great company. So check out everything that they're doing, and use Caffeinate TED 2022 to save a few percentages on your purchase. Okay. So, with no further ado, let me bring in the man of the hour here, Jorge Medina.
Ted, how are you, man?
Good, man.
Thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's absolutely my pleasure, my privilege. One of the things I do want to ask you, as I do everybody here, when did they drop you off, man? When did you land on this planet?
Oh, man, this was in the late 70s in a little city called Guayaquil, Ecuador. I was born in Ecuador. I was born in Ecuador. And I came to the States when I was 7 years old. And I've been here ever since. I haven't gone back. I haven't looked back. But I do want to go back to my native Ecuador. I just haven't had a chance to get back there. But yeah, that's when it all started, man. Late 70s. And I've been here since 84.
That's
so
awesome.
I'll let everybody do the math as to how.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that, and it, all of it set aside, dude, I'm all about immigration. Anybody knows me, my dad was from Wales, and my grandparent, everybody, so old country, I'm all about it. Yeah. And so it makes America great in my eyes. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here, man. I'm better for it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So okay, let's get it all out here. I don't know how you and Sam met. I probably asked him on when we talked about. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, since I've got you on here, I didn't do it yet. We do Ted's library, and I didn't want to. I don't want to cut you off at all, but we're gonna be talking a little bit about Sam's book here. I just want to make sure everybody, Sam Vera, is he's got Great title, man. I mean, I can't say enough about that. And it's just been a great book. It has, um, it did real well for him. So you guys really, I want you guys to check out Sam, everything that he's doing, and he's part of
Yeah.
Catch the Craze in your affiliation. We'll have that in the description. And, but we're going to be talking mainly about you, but I want to make sure everybody knows if you haven't seen Sam's interview,
Oh, it's
here,
great.
check it out too, because it's just going to enhance what George is all about, I'm sure. Um, okay. So enough about Sam. So what okay, so you've been in New York since then. Is that what
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I came to Queens. I lived in Jamaica, Queens for maybe a summer. And then my dad wasn't here yet because he was out. See, the whole thing, the way immigration was
Sure, man.
working at the time,
Sure.
my mom and my dad came here first, left
Okay.
my sister and myself back in Ecuador. I was raised by my grandparents, love them to death. I am who I am because they took care of me.
Sure.
And finally in 84 I came back, and I guess without my mom and dad for about 5 years or so. So I didn't know who they were until I got here. But my father had to go back to kind of, expedite everything as far as, hey, we got
Sure.
to get the kids, we got to reunite with the kids. So he stayed behind and I came here. So my mom moved to a town in a city in Westchester called Yonkers, New York.
Sure. Yeah.
And
If you
I've
don't know
been,
Yonkers, New York, you guys,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the sixth borough. They call it the sixth borough.
Right, right.
But so I grew up in Yonkers, and I've actually I stayed. I've been in Westchester all my life. All my I did my high school, my elementary, my high
Yeah.
school. I went to college in Dobbs Ferry, New York. And so I'm a local guy. I'm a local guy
Yeah.
to the area. But that's where I kind of did all of that stuff. You were wondering how I met Sam, and
Yeah.
just to jump on that real quick. And that
Sure.
cover that you showed, actually, I did that cover, which
Yeah, I
is
know
funny
that.
enough.
I was going to mention that. That's
But
why I kind of
funny
wanted to wait.
enough, that's like the,
Yeah.
the the
And
cover I
this
did
is a
for that book
cover that you've had on here for a long
for a
time.
long time. Yeah,
You guys
for
have
a
been
long
working. I
time.
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
again, this isn't what we're going to be talking
No,
about
no,
with
yes,
your,
yeah.
but I
But
want people to know the coalition.
yeah,
There's
that's
a,
part of the journey. So
yeah,
we met as I was doing like a continuing education course at SVA because I always liked drawing. Like even when I was a little kid growing up
sure.
in Ecuador, my aunts were art teachers in Ecuador, so that art bug was always in me, and I always wanted to create stories, but create my own stories. I never wanted to draw somebody else's stuff. So I came to the States, and you know, as a young kid, not knowing the language and all that other stuff. And my mom also, being at the time a single mom,
Sure.
didn't know about like the art schools in New York, or to send me to an art high school, or to send
Yeah.
so the lack of that kind of knowledge kind of led me to just to like, hey, I like drawing, so I'm just going to teach myself how to draw stuff.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to the School of Continuing Education at SVA one summer in 2000, I think 2002, 2003. And that's when I met Sam. He had started a small publishing company called Crazy Comics. And he
Hmm.
was like, hey, dude, you want to get down? Like, I'm doing this. And that was my first, I was like, wait, you have a comic book company? Are you serious? Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to get. So I started, then we became friends. And I started publishing my first book, which was Russ 5377 through him.
Hmm.
And yeah, and we became really close friends. And he started a podcast called Catch the Craze, which we started back in like 05, 06.
That's crazy for
Yeah,
me
it
to
was.
think about. I
Yes,
mean,
yes. It was
that's
before doing podcasts were cool,
that's
right?
grassroots, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah. It was like
I'm
radio.
thinking dial up. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
That's
Radio stations were
crazy.
looking at us like, look at these bums. They can't get on the radio, so they had this stupid little podcast.
Well,
Let's see how
uh,
well it does. And so
now look at you. Now look at it.
now
Right?
radio stations have podcasts of their
Exactly.
radio programs on
Exactly.
their
So
apps. Yeah. So we started that, and it was a means to an end. We figured, what, not nobody's talking about indies out here, so let's do a
right.
program about independent artists. And that was also a way to get our stuff out there.
Sure.
We're independent,
Brilliant.
so people
Yeah.
can start getting to know us and do that stuff. So we did that for a couple of years, and then unfortunately Sam stepped away from the industry, and I stayed doing my thing, and I finished my Russ 5377 book. I finished the graphic novel, and then I started working on the Adventures of Wonder Duck, and that's when I started working on that. So and then here we are, man. The book is finished. The first part of the book is finished, I should say,
Yeah.
and now I have this Kickstarter. So yeah, it's it's been quite a ride.
Have you do you think that if I can go back to your
Yeah.
upbringing in New York, um, how do you feel, or in Yonkers, how do you feel? I think it was probably to your benefit to not know about these other schools
Mm,
in
mhm.
some regards.
Yeah.
Talking as an educator, I mean, I'm overly educated. I think
Yeah.
that there's sometimes it takes away. It's like I can play piano, and I think that if I learned how to read music, it would have taken away my talent. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
structures sometimes.
Yeah.
That's just me though. But do you think that the way that you draw, the way that you perceive life now, do you
You know
think it
what?
would have been,
You know what's
you
funny,
know?
man? I have this conversation with a buddy of mine all the time. We
Yeah.
talk about how ignorance is bliss, knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
When I remember being a kid and writing stories and drawing
Hmm.
stories and not worrying
Exactly.
about anything.
Structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
I didn't
Right.
care
Right.
about, setup, conflict resolution. I didn't give a I just
Yeah.
wrote my stories and I had fun because ignorance is bliss, because I just wrote. The minute
Hmm.
I started learning about plots and subplots and character development, now I started questioning, shoot, am I
Hmm.
doing this correctly? Am I doing this right? And then fear starts setting in, doubt starts setting in, and that derails you a little bit. And
Hmm.
if you're not, I don't want to say strong enough because that's not the word, but if you're not
Mature
focused
enough. I
enough,
mean,
yeah,
and you're mature enough.
maturity has
Yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah.
You
Huge.
tend to say, hey man, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I
Hmm.
don't want to do this. So there is truth in that. Artwork, however, not and I don't know, but as far as art goes,
Hmm.
there's so much to learn about art, because and art is subjective, because there's artwork that people love and there's
Sure.
artwork that people hate.
Sure.
But I think that there are certain, again, the ignorance is bliss, right? There are certain things, like for example, when they started talking about anatomy and perspective, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I'm done. I don't understand perspective, and anatomy is like, oh, I got to read a bunch of books to learn about the muscle structure and all this other stuff. And now the fun of drawing kind of went away, and I was like, you know what? Let me go write, because I get writing. I understand writing.
Hmm.
I almost it almost like you were talking about that talent, right? It was like I can tap into this, and I think I can do this more so than I can do the artwork. And I give props to any artist out there, because I know how hard it is. I'm not taking it away from writing, because writing
Right.
is
No.
also a mind. It gets in
Hmm.
here, and you know what I mean. So it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but I think that I just found that easier for me to kind of like
Sure.
control my demons, or my
Well, yeah,
doubts when it
you're
came to
taking
that.
something from the ether and
Right.
then making it into a three dimension on the planet
Correct.
here. And
Yes.
such a hard thing.
Yeah.
Musicians do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do it as creatives. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's writing or if it's art. If you're
Right.
throwing paint on paint, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. I get it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason I asked that though is I don't think it's I think you have a huge advantage. Being immigrant, first generation, second generation, huge advantage here.
Mhm.
More so, just in the mindset of what can be achieved on a
Yeah.
lot of scales.
Yeah.
Because some people have never left they're never left their area.
Right.
They've
Yeah.
never traveled the world. They
Yeah.
haven't been able to do the things that
Yeah.
I've been able to do and look back on things and
Yeah.
see what my dad struggled with coming here to this country and what, yeah, on and on. So my heart, man, I get it. I totally
Yeah.
understand. It's awesome.
Yeah. No,
This,
and Ted,
yeah,
to your point also, I think that what happened to me, I
yeah.
left Ecuador. I was 7 years old, left Ecuador, came here, and I had to learn a new language, right? But
Yeah, and
what
that's gotta
happens
be scary.
Oh,
That's gotta be so
it's
scary.
insane, right? It's insane. But once I got comfortable, and I think that this happens, and we're a little everybody's a little guilty of it. Once I got comfortable, I didn't want to leave New York. I didn't want to leave. It wasn't until I started dating that I left Yonkers and went just into the city,
Really?
into New York City,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
started and saw a whole different world, because you're in the confines of not that Yonkers is a small city, but a small neighborhood. You're in Yonkers.
yeah,
It's just Yonkers, and then you
yeah.
go into the city, and it's like, wait, here are the buildings and the lights and all this other
Sure.
stuff, and people that dress differently and talk differently, and
Yeah,
and then you start getting curious, and then you're like, wait a minute, there's a whole other world.
out of there.
I finally
Right.
went to Europe this year for the first time,
Yeah,
stepping out of the
yeah,
United States, and
yeah.
that's a whole different,
That's a
that's a whole different
mind-blowing.
world. Right.
Mind blowing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you're right. We need to get out of our comfort zone sometime and explore, especially as writers and
Yes.
creatives. We need that. We need to see the world through different eyes because
Yes.
otherwise we're just stuck in our own little world, and it doesn't help the creative process, the
It
creativity
doesn't.
that we
And
hold
we
inside.
need to have experiences. And that's one of
We
the reasons
need
why
that.
I do this so that we can meet other
Yes,
people because
correct.
not everybody can leave,
You're right.
certain
You're right.
depending on travel restrictions,
Yes,
everything else. But
yes,
how
yes.
did okay, so when you were drawing in that, how did Wonder Duck, how did that come about? That the concept of that?
I was man. I must have been. I think. Well, so the Disney afternoon was back in the '80s, back in the late '80s, early
Okay.
'90s, and growing up in Ecuador, I was my like I told you, my aunts were art teachers, but
Yeah.
I like comic strips. I like reading comic strips and newspapers and stuff like that, and I like the simplicity of the characters and the artwork and how quickly they were able to turn that around.
Sure.
So I kind of I was like, well, this is cool, comic strips. Okay, cool. Then I came to the States and I got into cartoons. And I've told this before, but I like, the X-Men cartoons and I like the Super Friends and all
Sure.
that other stuff.
Sure.
But the more cartoony stuff, the Inspector Gadgets, the Captain Cavemans, the Heathcliff, the Snoopy, Dennis the Menace, the Disney Afternoon. Those were the cartoons that I was like, man, that's cool. Like if I'm going to draw anything, I'm going to create something like that. And I started watching, DuckTales, and there was a character in DuckTales called Gizmo Duck. And I
I
was like,
remember that. I
that's
remember
my
that.
guy. That's what I want. I want to mix a superhero with these action adventure, just goofy stories. How do I do that? Let me create my own character. So I created Wonder Duck. And I took the wheel off of him and I gave him, like, the helmet. He looked like Gizmo without a wheel, basically, back in the days, back in the 90s. And the book that I'm putting out right now, for the Kickstarter, has some of my old drawings
Yes.
of Wonder Duck from back in the 90s.
Yep.
So that was cool. But that's how it started. That's where it started. That's where the idea came for Wonder Duck.
Good deal. Now, did you ever see Howard the Duck as a kid or no?
I didn't. I saw. I knew of him, but
I didn't either. I never. It
the,
never interested me in movie
yeah.
theaters at all. I'm like, eh.
And okay. So coming from Ecuador, different culture.
Mhm.
A lot of that stuff was like, hey man, I can't read that. Like I'm not allowed to read that. I'm too young to read that kind of stuff.
Ah,
It's taboo. I can't touch that. I can't
interesting.
even look
Yeah.
at that. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you open up that comic and you saw boobies or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't look at
Yeah.
it. I can't,
Right.
gotta put
Right.
it back. Gotta put it away. I can't look at that. So that's why I wasn't so exposed to um to Howard the Duck. But
Sure.
so I never watched the movie. I never really, but I knew of him. Obviously he was
Yeah.
a popular character. But that wasn't. It didn't influence how because I think Wonder Dog would be different if that was the influence. I think it wouldn't be so kid friendly. I think
And that's good.
because that would have been
And that's such a rarity.
yeah,
What you're accomplishing because that's not an easy thing. It's
yeah,
easy. It's us as adults. It's easy to throw caution to the wind. Say, oh, it's 18 and above.
right, right,
Money grab. I think it's more important that we take the initiative to maybe inspire some kids.
yeah, yeah,
What's up with that?
yeah.
What's wrong with that, right?
I agree. I agree. I mean, I love. Listen, I love the hardcore adult stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
shoot,
Well,
but I do.
I have a great time too. I
Right.
love. I think censorship's wrong. I think that we
Yes.
need to.
A
If
hundred
if
percent.
you're into that, it's fine as long as you're not hurting kids
100%. a
or
hundred
anything
percent.
like that. That's one
But
thing. But
but I do believe that if we want our industry to continue, we have to talk to the kids and say, hey, check out these
absolutely,
comics. Check
yeah,
out this stuff. This stuff you can read this. This is cool too. You can read and let them fall in love with that stuff so that they become 45-year-old men who draw
draw
comics and write
comics, right?
comics and read comics and still love
Yeah,
comics. I
you
love
and
comics.
Sam talk about that a lot
Love
about
comics.
inspiring the
Yes.
younger
I
kids.
think back in the days, we had the slogan for the crazy comics was "Grow up with us," and because we always wanted to do that for the kids, and
Yeah,
that was a tagline, like "Grow up with us," and we always had like these kid friendly stories
yeah.
to kind of like just inspire the younger generation to read, write, draw, all that, do all that with
This is a decent sized book.
comics.
How many pages is this thing?
It's 88. So it's four issues. So it's four chapters and
God,
it's 22 pages per chapter. So it's 88 pages, the book. Yeah. It's the first
and
four chapters of the story.
the artwork's great. Uh,
Yeah.
talk about that, man.
Oh,
Talk
dude.
about that.
Yeah. When I started, when I started drawing the comics, Russ Fox 377,
It's so
my
good.
style
Um,
was just not good. It wasn't good. It wasn't going to
yeah.
make it. So I decided to hire these guys. I found them on, I think it might have been DeviantArt or one of those old school, web forums, and
Okay.
they were called not what was it? Big Cat Studios at the time.
Yep.
And dude, incredible. They were just amazing,
Mm,
amazing artwork. I
excuse me.
sent them I sent them the I drew the characters. I create, I designed everything, and then I sent it out to them, and I said, "Hey guys, draw this. Like this is what I want." And obviously in the style, and they did, and they killed it, man. They're in the Philippines, a studio in the Philippines. They've changed their name to Studio Nine Lives since, and they've done work for Castlevania. Yeah, they've done animation. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, the stuff that they're doing is just unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, no, go for it. Go for it.
One of those days. Sorry about that.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. No, they're amazing,
Um,
amazing group of
is
artists.
it hard communicating back and forth with them?
No, not at all. Not at all. I thought it would be at first. And at first we started communicating via, just emails. And but I would send them the script and they would come back with this. And I'm like, oh, you guys got it. You got it. You nailed it. So and obviously with time, and I've been working with them since this book was done back in like '09, I want to say. So I've been working with
Right.
them for years, and
Sure.
now we communicate via the Facebook Messenger, and it's become a lot easier.
Well, I can only imagine
Yeah,
how
yeah.
happy you must be.
Oh,
The Tell me about this texture on this cover, bro.
oh yes,
This is killer. I don't
yeah.
even know what this is called.
I know, I
It's
know. It feels
durable.
nice. Yeah, it feels nice. I actually
Yeah.
have that too. Yeah,
When I got it out of the mail, I'm like, oh my god, dude, this is like
yeah, yeah. It's really nice. I hooked up with an independent publisher,
okay.
and the owner of the company is J.M. DeSantis. Amazing, amazing. He's a writer. He's a writist. He calls himself a writist. Yeah, a writer artist. He writes and he's an artist
I
as
like
well.
that.
He's got
Yeah,
a book called the Charayana. Very, very, very good book. And so he started a company called Darkfire Press. And we've been friends. I've known him for a while through just conventions and stuff like that. He's
sure.
from New York also, and he had started that stuff. And so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, are you looking to pick up anything? I have a book called The Adventures of One Duck. It's a kid, it's kid friendly. It's not for adults." He's like, "Let me take a look at it." So he took a look at it. He's like, "I love it. Let's do it. Let's get together. Let's do this." So he's put all of that work. If you guys want to get it, you can obviously get it through the Kickstarter, but you can also go on Amazon. It's on Comixology.
Hmm.
It's on BarnesandNobles.com. It's not in stores just yet because we're going through Ingram Sparks, and so they've
Sure.
they've they've done it digitally, not digitally, but you can order it online. But which we just linked up with a distributor who hopefully we will be getting into stores very soon. So yeah, so I just wanted to give a big shout out to Darkfire Press and James DeSantis for taking a chance on the book, and they've done an amazing job
That's good, and
producing
it
it.
looks
Yeah,
it looks
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah.
Let's get to the Kickstarter here.
Oh yeah, awesome. So yeah, so as of this recording, I am at 2886 with 81 backers, and I want to thank everyone, man. This I don't know if you saw the show live, Ted, but we launched it on Catch the Craze back on May 4th, and it was a debacle, man. I couldn't get it to launch. I could not get it to launch, and we were there, we were live, and it's a live program. You're like, people are waiting for this thing
I
because it was like,
command.
here we're going live. It was just nuts. Luckily, and thank you so much, Daphne Lage. Daphne.
Yes. Oh yeah. Daphne's
She
great.
came in, she knows a little bit about Kickstarters. So
Yep.
she went in and she kind of matrixed it. She went in there, she neoed it, and she hooked it up, boom, and we went live. And the
Oh, that's
thing,
cool.
yeah, and the thing funded in an hour. So thank you so much for
I know.
everyone who
I was
stuck around.
I could. I mean, I was looking at the numbers today, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah,
This is
it's
something.
amazing. I never expected this. Then a few days later, we got Project We Love, and I was like,
Right.
wait, what? Oh man, that's freaking amazing. So yeah, so thank you everyone. Everyone's been great. We have 17 as of this recording. We have 17 days to go,
Hmm.
and we're about to unlock another stretch goal. But I'll
I
go
know.
I'll go through the
It's
campaign so you guys
crazy.
can
Yeah.
see it.
Let's
Yeah,
hear a little bit about it.
this is a little video. I and the indie community is amazing, Ted. we had this person on the show, Morgan Quaid, great dude. He's out in the UK, and he had a Kickstarter as well. He said, "Hey, I'll make anyone who, if you've pledged to my campaign, I'll raffle off a theme song for your comic." So I was lucky enough, boom, won it, and he did this theme song. I put the video together, but he did the
Cool.
theme song. Let me see if I can play it
Yeah.
here. Let's see, and you can see it.
As a result of a war in an alien planet, a super battle suit is discharged into space, changing the life of one hapless duck and transforming him into a hero called Wonder Duck.
That's awesome, dude.
So he does this for me, and I'm like, dude, that's amazing. And at first I was like, okay, all right, that's interesting. But then the more I listened to it, it was just quack
Yeah.
quack quack quack, and I'm like,
That's
oh
great,
my
dude.
god, that is incredible that he put that together in like a short amount of time. It was incredible. But
And the marketing side of it too. I mean, you can't go
yeah,
wrong with that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's good.
it's amazing. It's amazing. So I put together the campaign. Now, for those who don't know, obviously there are 4 chapters, and you held up the book.
Yeah.
These are the first 4 chapters of the book in this 88-page graphic novel,
Yep.
and now I'm putting together chapter 5. So, well, I'm actually putting together the second half of that graphic novel, which would be issues 5 through 8. But this is the first chapter in that second part of the graphic novel. And so I'm putting, I did this campaign to just get me going, get me started, and everybody will get obviously the next issue
Right.
of that book. So, accused of treason, Dr. Muse must find a way to save his people from the conflict he brought upon his planet, because the Dr. Muse is the doctor who created Wonder Duck, and but he did it, through behind the scenes dealings, and it was
Mm.
it was by mistake, and now he's gotten caught. So the story, chapter 5, is called "Nothing to Muse," a play on his name, and nothing to lose, obviously. And so we find out what happens to him in this next chapter. Does he escape the shackles? Does he survive the fact that he did this? So at the beginning of the book, when you guys get it, these are the first, I would say, 7 pages, because it's a preview. And I
Yep.
have a thing where I did previously in the Adventures of Wonder Duck. And so if you've never bought the book, if you didn't buy the book, then you at least know what led to where we are now. So I did a little recap, and I put together just images. There's him creating the suit, the people coming in to get him. He discharges it out into space. Boom, Duke Dullbeak becomes Wonder Duck, right? But he's caught, and now he has to answer to Emperor Zunder, because he's brought this conflict upon his planet, and now they don't know what to do. What's going to happen next? And now you get the preview of
Hmm.
the first 5 pages of the book, and these are them. When I first got the pages, Ted, I'm telling you, I was like, "You guys are just killer, man. You're
That's
out of control."
that's great. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
that that's good because it doesn't always happen that way. That's
Yeah.
good.
Sometimes you get stuff and it's like, wait, did you guys
Lost in the
change?
translation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or sometimes they'll change artists, and the artists don't
Mm.
don't match anymore. Remember, I've been working with them for years, but they've kept the style so close, and even all of the, just like the
It's
beautiful rendering.
consistent. Yep.
It's very
Hmm.
consistent. They did all they did the pencils, inks, and colors, and then I did all the lettering for the
Excellent.
book.
I was going to ask you about that. How how do you like lettering? Because I know it's
I
not
I, I
that's a
enjoy
whole
it.
that's
I enjoy
another
it.
art form in itself.
Yes, I do like it, and it's funny because I've heard JD Calderon, another great
Oh
indie
yeah.
creator. Big shout out
Oh
to him.
yeah.
He does his own lettering too, and I agree with him when he says it's almost like another level of editing, because
It
I'm the
is.
writer and now I'm the letterer of the book. I can change
Yeah.
dialogue, or I can, yeah, that's not sounding right. Let me change it. Let me move it. Let me do something
Right.
else with it. So there is that level of final edit
Yep.
when it comes to lettering. So I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. Yes.
Do you think it's harder when you have artists doing the panels itself, and then you have to go in and then add your lettering to it. Is it
Mm,
harder to do that? I mean, I can imagine it would be, but
yeah, you know, it can be depending on where they, because the placement of the balloons is so important.
yeah,
So I don't want to cover up
sure,
artwork, you know. So
yeah,
yeah, sometimes it can get it could become a little challenging. But when before I got into the current job where I work, I used to work at an advertising agency,
hmm
and I did a lot of desktop publishing. I worked for a catalog, and so I learned how to use Photoshop, and I learned how to
mm,
use InDesign and Quark Express. So I'm able to do certain things with the balloons. Like I don't know if I did it in any of these pages, but like if I wanted to put this balloon behind a character,
yeah, you
I
can
can
do
go
that.
ahead and do that. You know, I
You're
can mask it behind. So yeah, I don't think I did it for any of these
one of the
pages.
things I liked about you and Sam is you've remastered a few things too.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
remastered stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you're doing it now though. You think you're ever going to remaster, or you think it's going to be pretty
Um,
sound
no, I
pretty
think it's
soon?
pretty sound. So what I've done, like obviously with the part one,
Hmm
it's my rule, right? Like I think enough books are out there where like remastering that I think would be like a disservice to some of the people who
Sure,
bought
right.
the
I
book.
agree with you. I
You know
agree
what I
with
mean?
you.
It's like, wait a
Yep.
minute, wait, you're
Yeah.
changing it, but I bought like so
Yeah.
I'm
Right. The
leaving that
original.
alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
So now that I'm working on the next, I can do certain things. I'm still trying to keep it consistent, but I've learned, I've become a better letterer. So I can
Sure.
do certain things. I can change certain things. This is what we did with the book that you were holding up for the
Yeah.
Man in the Toilet. I did a
Yeah.
lot of the relettering. I
Oh,
relettered a lot of the
this
book.
this one.
Yes, I
Yep.
relettered a lot of that stuff. You know, we remastered that
Yeah. But
because
that's also 20 years old. It's an
yeah,
older book. I
exactly.
mean,
And not and you know, and you know, we
maybe not
didn't
that
reach as
old.
many people
Yeah.
as we wanted to reach at the time. So he's like, you know what? This is a perfect time to maybe not change a lot of the dialogue because a lot of the dialogue and a lot of that stuff changed, but the way the word balloons look
Yeah.
and all that other stuff, you know, he recolored it, you know, and all that other stuff. So
Sure.
yeah, there is something to say about remastering something because you do become a better, whether it's writer, artist, or whatever,
hmm
you become better at whatever you're
You're
doing. So
evolving. Yep. Yep.
you're evolving,
Yep.
absolutely. And then so here in the campaign, what I did was I also linked up with a, you know, we're talking about comic books for kids.
Yep.
Comic Books for Kids is an organization that's
It's
based
a
out of Chicago,
fantastic,
actually. Incredible, man,
fantastic.
incredible.
Yeah.
Mark Weiss, amazing dude. You know, I looked him up. Well, actually, Russell Allen told
hmm
me that he was the person that I should be speaking to. So I sent them a book and I said, hey, Mark, I want to put this. I want to, you know, send this to the kids. Just give it a read through. Make sure that it's good to go, and
Sound.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll put a tier together for it. So I've linked up with them, and yeah, there's a tier on here that for $35,
hmm
5 books go to the comic book for kids. They go to the, you know, the hospitals and the cancer centers for the kids, and then you get 1 book, and you get to choose between the 3 covers that I have. All right, so I have the regular cover, the cover that I did, and then the homage cover. So you
It's
get to
fantastic.
choose. You get to choose
Yeah.
whatever cover you want as a thank you for doing that, and then you're going to get a letter from Mark thanking you as well for your
Awesome.
collaboration. So
Awesome.
yes, so it's a really, I love that. I love that he was, yeah, that we're able to do that. Right. So right now we have 45 books that are going out. You know, I'm trying to get to like 100 books. Like I want to send as many books as we can
Sure.
to the kids
Sure.
because
I think
I
that's
feel like it's
achievable.
so important. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so important. You know,
Absolutely.
but so yeah, so then we started. You know, obviously, yeah, every campaign's got stretch goals. You know,
That's right.
it's the thing. It's just, you know, for those who don't know, have no idea what the heck a stretch goal is. It's just it's a way to reach certain goals within the campaign after you reached your initial goal. So if my initial goal was $1,000, you know, I'm trying to get maybe to 1,000. How do I get
Right.
there? Hey, here's an extra something to get us there. And so in this case, we already unlocked a $2,000 goal, which is this WD or Wonder Duck Army 8x10 print that I did
Awesome.
for the campaign. So you guys all get this print. It's basically just a scene from the book where, you know, one of
It's cool.
the
Love the
main bad
lighting of
guy.
it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
It's
gorgeous. Yeah,
almost
they did a
Monsters
really good job.
Inc.-ish. I love it.
Yes,
Love it, man.
yes, yes. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. So that's unlocked, and we're very close to unlocking the next one, which is the Superman homage WD 8x10 print done
Yes.
by my friend Mr. Samuel Vera, and it's
Yep.
an homage cover to Tony Harris. Back in 2003, he did a Superman cover,
Yep.
and he did that. And I saw that show that you guys did on covers, dude. That was a good freaking show that you guys did the
Thank you.
on today's
Appreciate that.
artistry. Off the hook. I
Appreciate that.
loved it. I loved it.
Thank
Because
you.
you know what? We don't get how important covers are, man.
Right.
Like covers are
Right.
so important, dude. It's so
Right.
important. So big shout out to Sam for doing this for me. So this is available at $3,000. And then I'm really excited about this one. This is the $4,000 stretch goal. And
That
this is
looks so
for,
killer, dude.
oh,
I looked at that. I'm like, that
oh
is so
man,
stellar.
this is
Yeah,
Hector Rodriguez is an artist. He is incredible, and Sean Lee is the colorist on this book. And they're
beautiful.
an incredible duo. This is obviously for my mature, not readers, but
Yeah, but
necessarily, but
still
like the
though,
parents of the kids who
it's
want the book.
cool, right?
This
Yeah.
is killer. This is so off the hook. Right now, what I'm doing is, and we're watching the show. If you're watching the show right now, if you pledge to the campaign while this show is on, and you subscribe to the channel, because you have to subscribe to the channel, then I'm giving away the print. I'm giving it before it unlocks. I'm giving away. It's an 8x10. So if you pledge
So
to the
good.
show, if you pledge to the campaign and subscribe, but you have to subscribe. I'm going to send you a survey, and I'm going to ask you, hey, were you watching the show when you subscribed? You say yes. I'm going to ask you which one. You said Ted. I'm sending you that print. So make sure you subscribe to the
That's
channel.
wicked.
I
Love
think
it.
it's important. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's that. And then then we have the add-ons, right? And the add-ons are basically just things that a la carte. If you maybe there's a tier that you like, but you need more stuff, and you're like, wait, I wish I had another copy of the book. This is where you get them. So physical copies, just add them at the very end before you check out, before you complete your pledge. Go in there and have physical copies available of books A, B, and C. There's no difference in price between the three covers. All three books are $5 each. So you just pick whichever one you want.
That's cool.
I'll find out when I send you the survey. So you make sure that you answer those surveys. Those are so important that you get back those surveys back to me. I do have an add-on, the 5 copies for the comic books for kids for $25. The tier is $35, but if you picked another tier, but you still want to send the books for $25, I'll send the 5 books out there.
That's awesome.
To the kids. So that's an add-on on the campaign. I also have the 8x10 prints that you can get. They're $10 each. I have the holofoil sticker, which is this guy right here. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that was awesome. I saw that. I'm like, oh, dude,
it's a cool
that's a
little
great
sticker.
print, dude. Whoever did that, great job.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So it's a holofoil sticker, $3 each. I have a trading card, which also has a gold foil around. So all the little gold trimming around it, it's going to be it's a gold foil, and those are $5. I'm printing out 500, so there is a limit, and they're going to be serialized. So you're going to get from 1 through 500. So if you
got it,
whatever you
are
order,
you signing any of them or no?
I can. I'll that's up to the yes. That's I'm not charging anything extra either. Is if you want it, yes. If not, then that's fine. Whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Then you get the T-shirt. If you want it, you get the book. If you haven't read and you're like, oh shoot, I need to get the book. Boom, you can get it for $15. And I also did a catch-up digital first 4 chapters here. So if you don't want to order the book, but you still want to read the chapters, you can do it digitally. You can definitely do it digitally.
That's a good price, bro. $10, solid. It's
all
very
4
good.
chapters. Yeah, all 4 chapters.
Very
you
good.
get them right there. So you can add them to your digital tier if you want it, which is the first tier on the rewards. The digital tier also has all of the prints digitally. You can get all of the PDFs of all the prints on the campaign before they even unlock. They don't have to unlock for you to get them. So you guys can get them for $10. So that's that. Then you have, $10. You get the book and the digital copy. That's cover A. That was done by Studio 9 Lives. Beautiful cover. I love what they did there. And then for $20, you get the homage cover and so you can pretty much put this one away, the homage, if you want to collect it, put it away and read the regular book. You can still read the book, and then you get an 8x10 print of the cover, the virgin cover. Great. So you get all of that for $20. And then for $30, you get all 3 covers. I did this cover. I haven't drawn a cover since There's an Alien in My Toilet. I have not, just because like I told you, my confidence in artists was shut down back in the day. So I was like, you know what though, I'm doing a campaign. Let me pick up the pencil. Let me do it. And big shout out to Alex Rivera, who's the inker on this piece, and Victor Claudio, who did the coloring for me. So big shout out to those guys. I also have to give a big shout out to Joe Holly, who did the homage cover there. That's his artwork there. And Victor Claudio did the coloring. So you get that. This is the tier, the Wonder Kids tier, I call it. So they get the 5 books. And like I said, you get whatever cover you want, A, B, or C. For $50, you get the holofoil cover. The holofoil sticker and the trading card added with the T-shirt and the graphic novel for $50. Yeah, you get all of that. And then the big one is the $100 tier, everything in the campaign. And then I added this flash drive. It's a 2 gigabyte flash drive. I'm a writer, Ted. Sometimes I go to like different places. I'll go to a buddy's house or I'll go to the library and I'll forget my computer. And I'm like, oh man, I got an idea for a story. I
Yeah.
want to type it out. I don't have anything. I pop in my flash drive into the computer, do what I got to do, save it, and come out. So I figured let me add a 2 gig, Wonder Duck
That's great,
flash
man.
drive in there, something a little different. And that's what I have in there. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to the team. There's me. There's your links there if you guys want to check them out. But there's like a quick little bio of everybody. Studio Nine Lives, my man Joe Holly. Look at that. Look
That's
at that
great.
kid. Look at that kid.
Yeah.
Alex Rivera there.
Yep.
Victor Claudio. Sam looking like he's on a GQ cover of a magazine. Hector
Classic Sam.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah. and Sean Lee. And then finally, projects you should also check out. There's an Anime My Toilet is coming May 31st, part 2. Make sure you sign up for the pre-launch
I
page.
just got the
link,
mailer today. I
yeah,
just
the link
received her
is there.
yesterday. So.
Yep. So there's that. And then obviously my buddy Russell Allen, Cat and Piggy Girl. He's also sending books out to the Pound Books for Kids.
Another great campaign.
Yeah, great campaign. Brian Rodman's another great campaign.
I can't say enough about Rodman, man. I love him. Love Brian, man.
Look at this cover, bro. Look at that.
I know,
piece.
man.
He's beautiful.
Just fantastic. I got to meet him and his wife in Lexington, Kentucky.
That's
fantastic.
Awesome.
Just great couple.
I need to meet some of these guys in person, man. I've known these people like for so long. Like,
well, right. You and I, we've known each other at least a year.
And I've never met. Actually met you. It's crazy.
But eventually, it'll happen.
For sure.
It'll be one of those things,
Yeah. No, big
that's
time.
our world.
But that's it, man. That's the campaign in a nutshell.
It's a very reasonable. I think you've overachieved so much on this. You can definitely tell you've done this a few times.
Yeah. It's funny because you do it many times, but then you go in there solo and you don't know what to expect, right?
Right.
Because you don't. So
I can imagine that.
When I made the goal, and then because I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll make the goal. Maybe hopefully it'll take me. I can do it in maybe a week, 2 weeks. I know I have enough people, I have friends
out
and
of the
family.
Gate. Boom.
Boom, man. And I'm like, and I told this, I told this to I think Sam and like somebody else had asked me. I was like, what I'm telling my friends and family, don't pledge until you see nobody pledging. And then go in there and throw some bucks, man, please, because I hate that lull back in the middle of the campaign where like,
I know, yeah. I totally understand that, bro.
It is so unnerving, man. So
and it's always heartbreaking when people don't have the somebody's not watching the show when it's live or something. And it's like you just see this stagnant what we call it in Michigan a Kevorkian line, because there's like
nothing going on.
Nothing, like
yes. Dude. But it's been great. It's been great. It's been great. I've been lucky, man. And like, hey,
well, listen, man, you've done the work though. Let me give you props, because one of the things you did was you launched Notify Me when launched. You did that months before this went. And I don't mean in a bad way. It wasn't annoying or anything. Because I ended up sharing it out. I was sharing it out here and there,
I
whatever.
You. Thank you.
And it's and of course I would, but you're setting that foundation that it's the reality. Okay, hey, this is coming. Check it out. And you weren't like blasting it on there. But every once in a while you get this notify me on launch. And that's huge. That's a huge thing.
It's such a thin line, man, to try to tote that line between being spammy and being, just hungry to get your stuff out there, because it could be taken the wrong way. And so toting that line is probably one of the hardest things. And I tried to like tote the line where like, I'm giving you enough so that it's there, but I'm not in your face to the point where like, I don't even care about this freaking campaign. Whenever it comes out, I don't even care anymore, because it's white noise to me now. And that's that line that as an indie, sometimes you have to walk. And it's one of the hardest things to do, man.
Well, and catch the craze though, you guys, you're promoting so many other people too. And you've got this, and I think that we all do that kind of in a good way. I shouldn't say all of us, some of us do that to where we're helping others build their businesses, building their IPs and art. And it goes hand in hand, but you've done, I don't think people they'll see through that if we don't. And you've got that. You and Sam aren't, you're not like that. You're not out to just do it for you. And so when you're running a campaign, when you offer a campaign, people are like, they're legitimately interested. It's
Yeah.
not like it's, hey, cool. Let's give back to
Yeah.
them now because we
Yeah.
love their work anyway. We love what they do.
Yeah.
Anybody I've asked loves you guys. So,
Thank you. I
you know,
appreciate that, Ted.
so I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah. I think it's important, man. We're such a small industry, and maybe not so well. Yeah, no, it's a small industry.
no,
It's not.
yeah,
People
give it
know.
time, dude. Give it
Yeah.
5 years. I'm telling you
No, no,
for a
but
lot of things. But yeah,
you're right. But I think that people know about other people. So if
yes,
you do something dirty, it's
yeah,
gonna get around, and your
yeah,
reputation
yeah.
is out there. So it's that kind of it. So don't do anything dirty, man. Like just be a good person, dude. Like this
Try to be as
to
ethical as you can be. I mean, help people.
exactly.
Just help
There's
people.
plenty.
You
There's
know.
so much room for everybody. I feel
Yeah,
like
and it's not
I
about
don't need
competition. It's
yo.
not about for me. It's not.
I
I
don't
know.
need to I don't need to take somebody from your, group of people who are watching your show to
Yes.
grow mine. There's
Yeah.
plenty of freaking room, bro. Like plenty
Build
of
a
room.
build a bigger table, man.
Yeah,
That's my
dude.
whole
That's
thing.
it. You're
Forget the
absolutely right,
wall,
Ted.
build a table,
A
right?
hundred
So
percent, man. A
yeah.
hundred percent. Yeah.
You got a great campaign, man. And I
Thank you,
love the
Ted.
platform that you guys have built. I mean, um, and I like the fact that I can interview you guys independently so that
Hmm.
people see you guys as
Yeah,
creatives and
I
then see
appreciate
what you
that.
bring together too.
Yeah, I
I love
appreciate
that.
that.
So
Thank you,
what
man.
is what's your biggest hope for this IP for Wonder Duck?
For
What's the
Wonder Duck,
yeah.
man, it started out. The idea started out from watching a cartoon, and I wanted to be a cartoon. Like
Yeah,
that's what I
right?
want. That's what I want for the Adventures of Wonder Duck. I want to be able to, for kids to say, "Hey, I got to watch the next episode of the Adventures of Wonder Duck," and maybe later on years now, somebody's sitting in front of, virtually in front of some other thing, saying, "Hey, you know what really got me into this? It was the Adventures of Wonder Duck. I read
Yeah.
that book, or I watched that cartoon when I was whatever, and
Yeah.
here I am." Like that's like the dream.
Yeah.
And but I mean, like a short-term goal right now. And I wanted to mention this before I go.
Sure.
So what I'm doing is right now, every 25 backers, I'm putting into effect a golden ticket, similar to
Really?
Willy Wonka's, right?
Hmm.
And what it is somebody's going to get this golden ticket in their pledge. Like when they pledge to the campaign, when I'm packaging everything, I'm going to put this little golden ticket. And what it does is it gives you access to the second part of this. So like the next graphic novel that I do, part two.
Okay.
If you see me at any convention or anything or wherever I am, and you come up to me with that golden ticket, I'm giving you a free copy of that next chapter
Oh,
of the
wow.
book for free. So that's what I'm doing. So right now I have 80, I think 81 backers as of this right now. So
You
that's
do?
three tickets, three golden tickets. So randomly, three people will be chosen. So obviously, the more backers I get, the more of these little golden tickets I got to throw in there. So hopefully that'll get, it's almost like backer stretch goals, but every single time we hit like a 25
Okay.
backer, then boom, that golden ticket goes in. So it's going to be random, and I'm having fun with it. So we'll see.
That's good.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
And that's all you can do. I think that it's
Yeah.
great what you're doing for the kids in the hospital too. That's
Yes.
a great thing.
Yes.
Really, really proud of you for doing that because I know
Thank
that's
you.
not an easy thing to do.
Right.
For a lot of creatives, they don't really care, and it's hard to coordinate all that, and it can
Mhm.
be a real challenge.
Yeah.
So I totally appreciate that, and I'm personally going to look into something like that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, on some of my campaigns in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, so in closing, where can they meet you, or
Oh yeah.
see you and watch you? And we're gonna put on the description too. But go ahead.
Absolutely. You can definitely go to my website, getyourmeds with a z.com. It's a play on
I
my
love
last
that.
name.
By the way, I
It's a
love
play.
that.
It's a play on my last name. I'm not a drug
Yeah.
dealer. The only drug I deal is my comics, and that's to make you feel better. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the way I
Right.
look at it.
Right.
So getyourmeds .com. So make sure you go there. I'm also on Instagram you see it there on the screen at get_your_meds. I'm on Twitter on Get Your Meds. So check me out there. And if you go to my Instagram, you'll see my link tree. It's on there. But I think probably the best place to go is just to getyourmeds.com. I update the website with blogs and stuff like that. So you always know what I'm doing. I'm going to have this interview up there if you guys want to check it out. And I implore everybody to make sure you don't just watch, but subscribe.
Mhm.
Subscriptions are free. Like that, hitting that button doesn't cost you a thing. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button and help, every channel,
And
I
yeah,
think grow,
it
like
means
just
the
help them
world to
grow.
us, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
it does. It really does. It really does. And like I said, it doesn't cost anything. And there's not a limit. It's not like YouTube says, hey, you can only have,
Right.
15
Right.
subscriptions to shows. No, it's unlimited.
Right.
So subscribe, subscribe to the
Right.
channel.
Yeah, and if you like, and I would love for you guys, if you like this interview, if you like and share this, that would be great
Oh,
too. We would appreciate
absolutely.
it greatly. So you
Absolutely.
guys can check out everything. We're going to look at the description to have all that information here when this airs on Tuesday. And thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now you guys know, what I'm talking about with
Yeah.
George. Stick
Thank
around
you.
for a minute, George. I'll be right back. Okay.
You
Thanks
got it.
again, man. You were awesome.
Thank you.
As you,
Thank you.
and much success, bro. See you in a
Thank you.
minute. So now you know a little bit more about George Medina. I think that there's something to be said for somebody that gives back to the community, even when they're trying to get a few of their products out. So keep that in mind when you're shopping with different independents and seeing what these creatives do, because it's an important thing. And I think that's what you're going to see if you don't see it already in the indie collective. People that do give back, it outnumbers the ones that don't. So but look for it anyway. So, and I know George is his campaign is doing really, really well. And I know he's going to be even doing better in the future. So, check out everything that George is doing, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again for stopping in and seeing us this week. I've been, like I said, I'm a little bit hoarse right now, so bear with me on that. But check out everything we're doing this week. I know that we're going to be doing the George Perez memorial on. Comics Unlimited this week with Glenn. We had a little bit of a scheduling mishap last week, so but this week Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, where we'll be doing that. It's a long overdue, and I think that I want to definitely sit down because George I considered a friend, and it's something I really want to really have an hour and go through some of the good memories I've got of him and the different books that we've got that were signed by him, things that mean a lot to me. And I know Glenn and I want to talk a lot about George. So if you've got a story that you want to share in the comments on that Thursday, then by all means, please do. We'll be live on Thursday at 10 a.m. And then Friday, I know I think we're doing a Drinking with the Davies again with my wife here. And we'll find out what that one is. I don't know what it is, but we'll be posting that soon. So try to have a great week. Be safe out there. And read more comics, man. We'll talk to you soon.